Welcome to the new lecture. In this lecture, we are going to discuss some of the examples, right? Some of the basic examples. I said the basic examples. So in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the each and every mapping cardinalities and with respect to converting to the relations, right? So let us solve one problem here. So here we have three entities P, Q, R, right? And there is a relationship between the P and Q. What is this relationship? The arrow here indicate the one side is the Q side. So many to one side is where? One side is the Q side, right? This side arrow indicates it is going to move to the Q side. So one side will be the Q side. And also here also P, from P there is an arrow this side. So it is going to move to the R. That is from here many, this side one, many to one relation. And here also, here from here we have many to many between Q and R, right? So P has the primary key P1, Q has the primary key Q1, and R has the primary key R1. Now let us understand how to convert this into the relation. Why the minimum number of tables we are going to find here. So let us take our first relation. Let us start from the P, right? So P has now if I consider P with the Q, what is it? Many to 1. So many to 1 with partial participation on both sides. Now you have to revise your formulas. So what is there? Many to 1, many to 1 with partial participation on both sides. So when we have partial participation on both sides, the many side is going to observe the other side. See here, now E2 is the many side. Now E2 is going to observe the A1, right? So E2 is going to observe the A1, right? So whereas the one side we have only A1 and A2, whereas on the many side we have B1, B2. B1, B2 and descriptive attribute C and the primary key of its associated entity A1. So many side will observe. So where is the many side in this example? This arrow indicates that one side is this side, right? So many side is the P side. So P is going to observe its associated primary key. So P is going to have P1, P2 and it is going to have its associated primary key. What is that? Q1. Right? I'm not going to close it because P also have another relationship, so I don't want to close here, right? So that is the case here. Now what is the Q is going to have? Q is going to have Q1 and Q2, Q1 comma Q2. I'm also not going to close this also, right? So this is the case, this side, this over. Now let us move to this side. So this one side is R, many side is P. Now if we take this consideration, so many side P, many side is going to observe the its associated primary key. That means R1 is also going to come to the P. So Q1 comma R1, right? And what do the R is going to have now? R1 comma R2, right? So P we have taken with the Q and also P we have taken with the R. So what type of relationship? It is one to many. If one to many, so many to one. If it is many to one, then many side will observe the completely. So many side is P, many side P have observed the primary key of Q, right? And this also, it is also many to one. So the P side is many, so it have observed the R's primary key. So don't confuse with this diagram, this indication. Don't think that this arrow is here, so it is 1. No, it's not 1. This arrow is pointing to this side. Means the one side is this, the many side is this, right? So so P have been completed now. We have taken to both participation, but Q R have another relationship. So this I have not entered here. So what type of relation it is? Many to many relation. Both side partial. We doesn't have the double line, right? So both side partial. So what is the? Let us see our table again. What happens when there is many to many and partial participation on both sides? So when it is many to many plus both side partial participation, we have to take all three into the different. The relation is also going to have a table. Then the relation is going to take the primary key of its associated entities. So R I have taken the descriptive attribute C1 and also the A1 and B1. So let us apply this particular case there. So it is the many to many case. Now R1 is going to have R1 R2, right? So not a problem. Now Q is going to have the Q1, Q2, right? Now this relation is also going to have the this relationship is also going to have a relation. So R3 is going to be a relation, and it is going to contain the descriptive attribute, but it doesn't have any descriptive attribute. So it is going to take the primary key of its associated entities. So it is going to take the Q1 comma another primary key associated entity is R1. So we have taken all the consideration and solved the problem, right? So how many cases are how many tables are required? 4 tables for this particular example. So like this we have to solve the problems. Let us solve another problem. So this is our another problem here. So how many entities we have? A, B, C, 3 entities and 2 relationships. And see here, the arrow is pointing this side. It is moving from here to here. Means one side is where? A. A is going to have the 1, and this side is what? Many. So 1 to many relationship. Both are partial. So we have to look for our table 1 to many cardinality with both side partial. So when it is the case of 1 to many with partial participation on both sides, the many side is going to take the primary key of the its associated entity. So the many side is going to observe, that is E2 is going to have B1, B2 and also the A1 and descriptive attribute, right? B1, B2, A1 and descriptive attribute. So E1 will be as it is. So let us apply this. Now here this arrow is pointing here, means this is one side, this is one side and this is many side, right? This is one side and this is many side. So many side is going to observe the associated entity primary key, that is A is going to have A1 comma A2 as it is, whereas now B is going to have B1, B2, B3 its attributes, and again the primary key of this associated entity, so A1, right? So we have completed up to here. Now let us see this side. So what this arrow indicates, it is one side is C, so many to 1. So already we know that many to 1 partial participation on both sides, which will observe many which side? This side is the many and one side is here. So automatically the many side will observe the one side primary key. So what is the many side? B. B is going to take the primary key of its associated entity. So what? C1. So now C1 is going to come to the B, right? So then again C is going to have C1 comma C2. So how many relations are required? 3 relations. So 3 relations are required. I think you have understood. So in this 3 relation, for the A we have taken A1, A2, A1 is the primary key, and for the B, B1 is the primary key. And remember here, A1 is going to be the foreign key. It is going to foreign key. A1 is going to refer to the A. This particular A1 is going to refer to the A, and this C1 is going to be another foreign key. It is going to refer to the C, right? So like this, a relationship is established between the relation. And how many relations are possible? 3 relations. So minimum relations are 3. So like this we have to solve for the problems. Thank you.